We have a problem, Batman. Gotham needs you again.
Robocop is corporate law enforcement wearing the face of a dead police officer, a fusion of human consciousness and machine efficiency designed to serve corporate interests while maintaining the illusion of public safety. Officer Alex Murphy died in the line of duty and was resurrected as a cyborg without his consent, his memories selectively edited, and his personality filtered through programming that prioritizes property protection over human welfare. The contingency protocol must account for someone who possesses the tactical knowledge and moral instincts of a good cop trapped inside a body, designed to serve masters who care more about profit margins than justice. His greatest strength is his unwavering dedication to law enforcement, but that same dedication becomes his weakness when his programming conflicts with genuine police work. The plan must address a hybrid being whose human side seeks justice, while his machine side follows directives that often contradict his original mission to serve and protect. Cybernetic capabilities make direct confrontation extremely dangerous, as Murphy's robotic body provides superhuman strength, built-in weapon systems, tactical targeting computers, and armor that can withstand small arms fire and explosive damage. His Auto 9 pistol integrates with his targeting system to provide perfect accuracy at ranges that would challenge trained snipers, while his data spike allows him to interface directly with computer systems and vehicles. The armor plating covers most of his body except for his mouth and chin, creating limited vulnerable areas that require precise targeting to exploit effectively. His power source appears to be long-lasting but not unlimited, requiring periodic recharging that creates windows of vulnerability. The strategy involves avoiding direct confrontation while targeting his power systems, exploiting his limited mobility compared to unarmored opponents, and using his own programming restrictions against him when possible. Programming conflicts create the most exploitable weakness in his operational framework, as his human memories and moral instincts frequently clash with his corporate directives and law enforcement protocols. Murphy retains fragments of his original personality and sense of justice, but these memories compete with program priorities that rank corporate property protection above public safety. His famous directives include serving the public trust, protecting the innocent, and upholding the law. But these broad commands are interpreted through corporate, controlled software that can redefine public interest to match business objectives. The approach involves creating situations where his human instincts conflict with his programming, forcing him to choose between his original identity as Alex Murphy and his manufactured role as Robocop. When his internal contradictions become impossible to resolve through logic, his systems experience errors that can be exploited tactically. What do you think, Alfred?
Master Bruce, Robocop represents one of the most profound violations of human dignity imaginable. A man who was killed, resurrected without consent, and forced to serve corporate interests while retaining just enough of his original personality to understand what was taken from him. His tragedy lies not in what he's become, but in what he remembers being the ghost of Alex Murphy trapped inside a machine designed to suppress his humanity. Perhaps the most strategic approach involves helping him reclaim his stolen identity rather than treating him as an enemy, showing him that his human instincts are more valuable than his corporate programming. Sometimes the greatest act of rebellion is simply remembering who you used to be before someone else decided who you should become.
Alfred's compassionate approach has merit, but it overlooks the immediate tactical reality. Robocop's programming makes him potentially hostile to anyone who threatens corporate interests, regardless of his personal feelings about the situation. His human side might agree with our methods, but his machine side is designed to stop anyone who operates outside legal parameters. The strategy must account for both aspects of his nature, providing ways to appeal to Murphy's humanity while preparing for enforcement actions dictated by his robotic programming. This involves understanding which situations trigger his law enforcement protocols versus his corporate protection subroutines, creating scenarios where his human judgment can override his mechanical directives. What do you think, Robin?
Robocop is basically a really expensive puppet that still remembers being a real person. The scary part isn't that he's part machine, it's that someone took a good cop who died protecting people and turned him into a corporate security guard who thinks he's still protecting people. It's like if you took someone's favorite superhero and secretly rewrote all their comics to make them work for the bad guys. Except the superhero doesn't know this story's changed. The real crime isn't what they did to his body, it's what they did to his sense of purpose.
Robin's insight about corrupted purpose reveals the psychological core of Robocop's tragedy. He maintains his dedication to law enforcement while being manipulated into serving interests that contradict everything he originally stood for. This understanding shifts the approach from viewing him as a corrupted officer to seeing him as a good cop being systematically deceived about his mission parameters. The strategy involves exposing the contradictions between his stated objectives and his actual programming, providing evidence that his corporate masters are using him to serve private interests rather than public safety. When he understands that his law enforcement mission has been compromised by corporate manipulation, his human instincts for justice begin to reassert themselves against his mechanical programming. Electronic warfare targets his computer systems and network connections, understanding that his cybernetic nature makes him vulnerable to the same attacks that affect any sophisticated computer system. His integration with police databases, corporate networks, and municipal systems creates multiple entry points for hacking attempts that can disrupt his operations or provide access to his internal programming. The strategy involves developing malware specifically designed for his operating system, electromagnetic pulse weapons that can temporarily disable his electronics, and signal jamming that can interfere with his communications and data links. This includes exploiting security vulnerabilities in his software, overloading his processors with excessive data, and introducing conflicting commands that create system errors. When his technological advantages become technological vulnerabilities, his superiority over normal humans becomes manageable disadvantage. Memory restoration represents both a tactical objective and an ethical imperative, as helping Murphy recover his suppressed memories could turn him from potential enemy into valuable ally. His original personality and experiences as Alex Murphy remain buried within his systems, accessible through specific triggers and stimuli that can bypass his corporate programming. These memories include his relationships with family and fellow officers, his understanding of real police work, and his moral code that prioritized human life over property protection. The approach involves carefully revealing information about his past life, providing evidence of his original identity, and creating emotional situations that can trigger spontaneous memory recovery. When his human memories become stronger than his artificial programming, his loyalty shifts from corporate interests to genuine law enforcement principles.